Okay, let's talk about Baiken in plus R. I think she's a very unique character in this roster. She will very much force you to, or force her opponent to play like a very specific game, and sort of just has a tool for everything. She is overall like an execution monster, but very much for a character who likes to really call out hard reads. If you have like finding like getting a good grasp on your opponent and then punishing super hard off of those reads and those feelings, this will definitely be a character for you. Before we get more in-depth to it, just want to shout out my Discord. Just trying to make a positive FGC community surrounding Plus R and MBAC. We got net play ping rolls, stream ping rolls, and just like an overall just good place to hang out. Let's get back to talking about Baiken. She's really defined by two primary specials. First, her guard cancel, and second, her tatami mat. Let's talk about guard cancels first. They are essentially a way to punish things when you're blocking. They don't cost any meter, so she has access to them right out the gates. And these do a lot, just psychologically, just approaching this game. It immediately drains all the confidence your opponent has in their block strings because, well, she's got 4 of them and they all punish different things, so if she can kind of get a good feel on your block strings, you will be punished for throwing out a predictable move. Let's go over them. They're inputted by 412 and then a button. So if she uses the punch version, this one is very good at covering jump in. So if you jump in, let's say jump slash, jump dust or something like that, she blocks it, 214 punch. She's got a punish, can convert off it. Now we have the kick version. This one crosses up. This one's really good at punishing like laggy moves. You throw like a really laggy move out it, she blocks it, she'll cross you up, and then she can get a throw or convert into like a fast normal off of it. And then now her most important one is the slash version. This one just throws out a hitbox right in front of her. It staggers on hit and can lead to big damage. This is definitely the most important guard cancel that most Baikens will be using. And then finally we have the heavy version. This one is like a somersault-like attack, has a little bit of invincibility on it, and is really good at catching like far-reaching aerials with high recovery. Mix those together, Baiken really has an answer to most moves that are going to be thrown at her as long as she can predict it. Now the other special, the tatami mat. This is kind of just like does everything button. It is really good at controlling space. She can end block strings with it very safely because it is -7 on block, but it has such a big hitbox. It really pushes away, so unless your opponent like instant block or slash backs it, it can be very difficult for really anyone to punish. And then on top of that, these can also start combos either in the corner or with an FRC. So yeah, throw out tatami mat and you probably will be in a good spot. This can also stuff like jumps and instant air dash ins, just because of the way the tatami mat falls. It has a really good initial hitbox. She can also use this in the air. It does lack a little bit of the blowback, but it's still really good at controlling space. And another special I think that is worth pointing out is it's a force break, so she does have to spend meter for it, but it's called Baku. This is a strike invincible move, really good for punishing things. When Baku hits, you get a follow-up. This follow-up can apply a status depending on what you input. So if she hits you with Baku and inputs punch, this locks out the opponent from dash, backdash, and jump for the duration of this. You will know that she used this one because the opponent will flash blue. Then there is a kick version. This one essentially makes all hits counter hits. Even if you're just standing there not blocking, you just get hit by a move, it counter hits. You can tell this by opponent flashing yellow. This leads to some really big damage. And then finally, if she inputs slash, this move removes the ability to block the next hit. pretty absurd. But you can tell this by opponent flashing like a cyan color. But that's not where this move ends. You can additionally follow up with pressing one of the 5 face buttons. So punch, kick, slash, heavy slash, and dust. And this locks the opponent out from using those buttons until the previously applied status just runs out. So you can lock someone out from bursting by locking out dust. Maybe they have like an annoying far slash you just don't want to deal with. Lockout slash. It's really matchup dependent on which status you want to apply and which button you want to lock out. But further going into that, her having a tool for everything, you just have to be knowledgeable enough to use it. And I think this definitely plays into that. And mix these all together with just her having some really good damage and some of the best normals in the game. They're all very disjointed and just hard to contest. So as an opponent facing Baiken, she might be able to throw out a move and then you're just like, I can't really do anything about it. I can't throw out a move to try to trade. It's disjointed. So I just kind of have to respect it. And you mix that with her having some insanely strong mix. She's got a special that she can TK that results in an instant overhead that's super hard to react to. It's very fast. Mix that with throw conversions. Throws in +R are very strong. They come out frame 1. There's a 2-frame tech window. They're very hard to deal with. Well, she can convert off those throws. Her 5D is very hard to punish. And then you mix that in with her guard cancels that we talked about already. And this just is insanely good mix. And it can be very hard to deal with. And to top it off on her pros, before we do talk about cons, there are some cons with this character. She's got a really small hurt box. It's very difficult to land instant overheads or air to ground conversions, and that's just a really big benefit for her. But there are some cons, and we'll talk about those now. They definitely do not overshadow any of the pros, though, so I'll just say that now. She does have some limiting gatlings. It can kind of make some conversions awkward, but overall, not that big of a deal. But she is very FRC dependent to get like those max damage, good hitting conversions. So she might have to wait until she gets a little bit of tension before she can open up those big routes. And a big one, the reason why you don't see a lot of Baikens like in quick match or just in general, is insane execution. She has a lot going for her. A lot of FRC conversions. That TK'd instant overhead can be a little bit difficult to execute. There was like a Kirei Tatame I saw mentioned. She has a Discord, or she has a Dust Loop section just dedicated to overcoming her various execution barriers. So that should tell you basically all you need to know. And to top it off, the final con is she has very low defense and is very easy to dizzy. So if you do finally land a good hit on Baiken, she will pay for it. And a good player will push that to the absolute limits. And they kind of have to, because you return to neutral with facing a Baiken, and you are essentially in disadvantage. So overall, she is a perfectionist character. She has that low defense, but offensively and defensively speaking, if you get a good feel on your opponent, you can punish them, and you can make them pay. You just will have to put in the work through execution, really learning the ins and outs of this character, and that she's got a very deep tool set, and that can be applied in a lot of different ways. And she asks a lot of the player piloting her. But if you put in all of that work, you get one of the strongest top tiers in this game, basically just right behind Testament. And I think she's really cool. She fills a unique role. She's a very defensive, controlling character that I feel like you don't really see a lot in +R. +R has a lot of like offensive demons. There's going to run insane block strings and all this mix and maybe fill the stage with like projectiles and stuff that's hard to deal with. But she can just kind of melt through all of that BS, and I think she's super fun to watch. not character for me. I'm not putting in the execution. I play easier characters for sure. But let me know what you thought. If you like this kind of content, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. As always, keep pressing buttons and have a good rest of your day.